Well, I'm really running out of space here, so I need to get cracking on getting rid of some of this stuff that I picked up in the South Bend hoard. I actually have several other items that I've picked up for the shop here that I wanted to go through in kind of like a flea market find series and everything. I'm going to have to postpone that just because I need to focus on the South Bend stuff that I just got in, because I've already got some interested parties in buying some of the parts. The quicker I could turn this stuff around and move it back out the door, the better off I am. So these little oilers were actually on the bearings for the headstock, and these thread in, but they were just dropped in loose. So I think that headstock assembly had little oil caps like what's on the Vernon and other cone head lathes, and the guy just took those out and just got these oilers. And these oilers are actually kind of neat. They've got a little trap door on the top here to fill the oil. They've got this valve thing here where you can actually adjust this knurled knob, and then I think when you turn this up, it actually opens the flow and lets the oil flow out. They're pretty cool. Some of these are quite valuable. I don't know whether or not these are of the cheaper, modern made cheapo, or if these are nice old vintage ones. I haven't really tried to look for a maker on them yet. So if you look at these oilers, you can see there's actually a glass window right there, and you can see that that's where the oil would drip from. So you can actually look through the window and watch the oil drip to see if it's feeding into the bearing. And I think these are really old. There's the only markings I can find on here is PAT''D, which I assume means patented, 3.30.15. So I think that's saying that this has a patent date of March 30th. It's not 2015, obviously, so probably 1915. So I think these could end up being quite valuable to the right potential buyer. These probably came off of an old engine. Old stationary engine, maybe, I don't know. But if anybody recognizes this style of oiler and wants to give me any information on it, that'd be nice. So I've got this adjustable knob on the top here that seems to regulate the flow. I got this little lever to shut off and turn on the flow by the looks of it. Got this little brass tang right here that keeps that knob from turning on its own. Got the little flip out spring loaded door to fill it. This is obviously glass, and then down here I've got this glass viewing window to watch it drip in. So, kind of neat. Two of those. Now I had mentioned previously that the deal was anything that was, any parts I wanted to strip off of the milling machine or the lathe, or the parts that were in boxes around them, on the floor, hanging on the wall near them, on shelves near them. That was all part of the deal. I could take whatever I want. So that mill, even though it was a former Yugoslavian mill, had this Bridgeport vise on it. And it actually seems like it's in pretty decent shape. It's got a couple of little milling errors there, but I don't see any, a couple little peck marks here and there. No major holes. The jaws look good. So, got that Bridgeport vise with the handle, I'm pretty sure. And then I was digging around under all the dirt and junk underneath the lathe, and I found this, and I realized, well, that's a base to a swivel vise. But unfortunately, it's not for this vise. You can see the size of the hole here. This has got like a very small pin, so I don't know what this originally came off of. Maybe after I clean it up, maybe I can find a marking on it somewhere to tell me who made this, because that might be something of value to somebody. Not to me, though. Here's one of the several boxes of items I picked up. This is the handle off the knee, the elevation handle for the milling machine. And you know, my Wells Index has a completely different setup than this. But I wonder whether or not this is the same as a Bridgeport. I'll have to look. Tubal Cain just did a video series on making an adapter so that you can use an electric drill for the knee on his Bridgeport. And I know he had mentioned something about the Bridgeports being something unique about the number that I think made it kind of difficult to do in an index head or something. I forgot what the heck he was saying about that thing, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't know whether or not, because you know, might be able to, if that fits a Bridgeport, I could probably sell that pretty easily to somebody. If it only fits that mongrel milling machine, well, I'll probably sell it to somebody eventually, but it'll probably take forever. Then again, if it's harder to come by, maybe it's worth more. I don't know. Rarity doesn't always translate to higher value. There's a 2-step pulley that was just in a box with some junk. This is a homemade slide hammer, puller, I should say. It's a puller, you know, got the hook on there, so you hook that on a big seal and give it a whack there. So hey, that's not bad. That might come in handy. Might as well. It's just going to get thrown out for scrap. There's this thing here. I'm not sure what this is. It's marked with a Sharpie by somebody. I can't quite make out what it says. 1.0 right here, but so I'm assuming maybe this is a 1-inch. It's interesting because that's a threaded hole. This almost looks like it could be drawn in and held in with a drawbar. But then what kind of a holder that gives you on this side, I have no idea. It's not a, this doesn't appear to be a tapered hole. And if it's not a tapered hole, then what on earth is supposed to keep this from any bit you put in there from spinning? In other words, there's no set screw. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if anybody else recognizes what that might be. Sandpaper. This thing here, this thing, it's bugging me. I think it's a hammer. I think it's a head for a hammer. Yeah, that's what this is. This is a head for a hammer. But what type of hammer this is, I honestly don't know. Is that a tin knocker's hammer maybe or something? You know, it's got like a peen side here, and then but instead of a ball and peen, it's like a point. So that's a strange little hammer head. This is just at first glance, it just looked like a bar, but then I realized that's solid brass. This is something highly machined, precision machined. Feels like it might be stainless. Very fine threads on this end. Very fine threads here. Got this unusual layout. Almost like this is like a head for some sort of a sprayer maybe, or this whole row of holes right here are blind holes that are threaded. So something screwed on there. So I don't know what that is, but I can imagine it would have been expensive to have made. Threaded holes on the outside here too, so it's another little mystery item. If anybody recognizes that. No markings on it, so unfortunately I can't really tell what this is. That's just another pulley. That's a nice heavy cast one though. There's another one there. Looks like that might have come off a small electric motor. Heavy cast. Don't know what this is. It's oxidized purple, as if like maybe it's copper or something, but it's not. I just had this file here. Oh, that's just a That's just that's just an oxidized hunk of brass. It's funny, this side here didn't look like it was brass in color. Oh yeah, that is. It's a nice hunk of brass there. This is Delron, or I don't know what the heck, or Lucite or something. Not sure. And then it looks like I just got a bunch of high-speed steel. It's like mostly just a bunch of high-speed steel cutters in here. Here's another one of those. That's a number 3 wedge, but the tip's broken off of it. This is a this is a Starrett steel ruler. Scale. Scale, right? That's not bad, actually. And here's just it's like a miter one. Got some rust on it, and I can't see the maker on this one. This is the Union Tool Company of Athol, Massachusetts. Some sort of little clamp. I don't know what that. Alright, so nothing, that's some kind of a hard, some sort of a plastic. Well, this guy cut threads on it at some point, so it's machinable. Sandpaper, belt, a stone. Still in the Norton box. Medium India bench 4x1 Norton sharpening stone. Okay. And some of the some of these are brazed carbide tip by the look of it, these cutters. So I'll add those to the mix at some point. Alright, so moving along here, I got a wooden box I had thrown a whole bunch of stuff in, and this is stuff I just found laying around underneath the lathe on the floor. There's a big mess under there, and also a couple of these things were near the mill. For starters, I grabbed these washers. That's pretty much more like a spacer, and then a couple of these thick spacers and washers. These look like they might have been maybe used for adjusting the height on a tool post, judging from the size of the diameter. Not sure. Some of this stuff is just scrap steel. You know, I took it just to have extra steel for projects, and clearly that's, you know, that was a cut off piece that didn't get used, and I might be able to put to use. This started a project there and did something. There's a little piece of brass, you know, that was faced not too recently. Not sure what that is. It's pretty heavy. That might be stainless, too heavy to be aluminum. Same with that. Good size chunk there. This is a big block of aluminum that was machined into something. I don't know what he was using this for, but I figured, you know, might be able to repurpose that. This looks like a handle. It looks like he was making another handle for, like, on that slide pull hammer, that homemade slide pull hammer he made. And it looks like he might have been working on maybe another one of those or something and stopped. That's marked 2.5 inch, so that was originally a 2.5 inch piece, and he turned it down to make this start of a handle. This is just a big disc of steel. Can't quite tell. It's got these striations in it. I don't know if that was because it was being turned or if this is just some other kind of funky steel. Actually, this is marked too. 88274. I don't know. Something. Heck, even just to have something on the bench to bang on. I have no idea what this is. Looks kind of specialized, but got a little tiny set screw there. Got this unscrews from this end. I see ball bearings down inside there. Huh. What is this? Don't know what that is. Mystery. Look at these washers. Huge. A little disc of steel. We'll put that in scrap. Here's some sort of hammer deal. I don't know what the purpose of this would have been. You know, I mean, that's clearly a hammer end on this end. Then he welded on this little flat piece right here. So I'm wondering what that would be. That seems like that has a real special purpose, the way he would have made that. And I have no idea what it would be. If anybody has a guess and wants to venture a guess, and you're welcome to hear it. This is light as a feather, whatever this is. It appears to be some sort of a plastic or something. But it also looks like it machines really well, whatever it is. Piece of steel, started making something with that. This is an arbor off or something, don't know what. It's got a keyway in it, piece of key stock in there. This might be hardened, I don't know. And then here's a Morse taper. It's a Morse taper to an arbor, and he's got a stack. This is interesting. This is reverse thread, and he's got a stack of these little cutters all together on it. Don't know what. It's reverse thread, Steve. You just said that. Now I gotta go find where that rolled off to. So initially I said these were slitting saws, but now that I take it apart, I see that, well, there was a spacer, and then these say Thurston high-speed steel 939L .061. Alright, so that's 61 thousandths, and then there was another one, same size, then another spacer, and the spacer he's got marked .305, it looks like. No, what does that say? He's got scratched on here something. .0305. Then a .0315. Then another spacer. Then a .0315. And then this is a thicker feeling one here. This is a .061. That's like the first one. And then another .061. So these were stacked very deliberately. So I don't know what the deal is with those. I guess I'll keep them. I'm not going to get them back in the right order. Well, the order we had them in anyways. Oh, come on. Got the dropsies today. Well, while I'm fidgeting with putting these back on, I'll tell you a quick story. I was at the Quabog Valley Engineers Association annual spring tractor show. I love going to the swap meet there. Got some deals there last time I went, and that was in the rain. Today was a lot bigger turnout. So anyways, I'm at the QVEA show, and I'm looking at a beautiful Gerstner machinist tool chest, nice tall one, on top of an original Gerstner 2-draw riser, all in oak. Very nice. $475. Guy had an eBay sheet showing how somebody had gotten close to that just for the riser, so he figured that he was giving somebody a hell of a deal at $475, and maybe so, but I don't have I don't feel like spending that kind of money on that. So I'm talking to the guy, and I kind of, out of the corner of my eye, I sense somebody standing next to me, and I turn and look, and there's a nice guy there, and he says to me, he says, "Hey, is your name Steve?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Yeah, I thought so." He says, I watch your videos." So ended up running into one of my YouTube subscribers today at that show, and we talked a little bit, and I asked him, what he liked about the videos, what his favorite parts were, and things like that, and had a nice conversation with the man. And got home, told the wife about it. First thing she says to me, she says, "Well, where was that couple from?" So I was down there in Connecticut, down around Colchester, but who knows, how far they had come to go to that show. And it dawned on me, I didn't even think to get his username or anything, because I wanted to give a personal shout out to that individual. So if you're watching this video, feel free to comment, and if you want to come forward and admit who you were. I just wanted to say again, I appreciated meeting you today. I enjoyed talking to you, even though it was kind of brief. Oh, I also wanted to mention that I'm not normally this hideous looking. I've got a horrible bout of poison ivy, so I got it on my neck, so I haven't been shaving, so I kind of look kind of scrubby today. And if I knew I was going to run into somebody from the channel, a fan from the channel, I probably would have tried to look a little more presentable. But you were very polite, because you didn't even mention it. So anyways, back to the mess at hand.